Hello and welcome to a brief overview of the MoneyLedger Pro Bookkeeping program for Canadian truckers. In this video, you will see how you can easily keep track of all your business and personal expenses, your revenue, and input taxes with this program. Let's take a brief look at the screens and enter a few transactions. The screen you're looking at now is the opening screen, which is the first screen you will see each time you launch the program. In the middle of the screen, you will notice three buttons: Current File, New File, and Open File. To start the program for the very first time, you will need to choose New File to create a new bookkeeping file. You are now in the main working screen. And as you can see near the top, we've created a new file, but let's give it a more descriptive file name. And to do that, we would need to choose the Save button. Once we've chosen the Save button, we can then choose the location of where we want to save this bookkeeping file, and we can also give it any file name that we would like. So let's call this one ABC Bookkeeping. Choose Save. And as you can see at the top, it now has a more descriptive file name. And to the right of that, there's a little star, which allows us to tag this bookkeeping file as our current file. So next time you open the program, on the opening screen, you can choose the Current File button and it will take you directly to this bookkeeping file for easy access. Okay, before we start making entries, we need to set up the program, and this is a one-step process that we don't have to repeat over and over, but we do need to set up the program. At the top right, there's a Setup button, so we just simply choose that, and this will take us into the Setup screen. And in the Setup screen, we simply follow through the prompts. At the top left, we choose when our year begins. On the right, we can choose the first month of our financial year. On the left, going down a little further, we can choose our various accounts that we're going to be using to record our money. Here we set up our bank accounts and credit cards and so on. Choose X to delete, choose Add at the bottom to create a new one. Choose Close when we're done here. To the right, we can choose our input tax setup. You can put in the tax name and the percentage rate of your tax. And if the tax rate happens to change, you can change this at any time. It'll just update your entries from that point forward. Scrolling down, we can now go to our income categories. Here we can set up to 5 different income categories as we would like, choosing the Add button, or we can delete them, choosing the X again. And you can also choose to have these appear or not appear on your business financial statement. So for example, if you have an income category name that's strictly personal, you can uncheck this and it won't show up in your business financial, it'll just show up in your overall financial statement. Choose Close when done. Going down a little further, we have our expense categories. And here you can set them up as you like. Just choose the Edit Category button at the bottom. This then takes us into our Edit screen. And in the screen you have various columns. In the center column, we can simply set up our expense category names as you would like. Then to the right, we have split percentages between business and personal. So if you have an expense that you would like to have split between business and personal use, such as a company car, for example, if you're using it 30% business and 70% personal, you can set up your ratios here simply by scrolling through. And later, when you do an entry, as we're going to see in a few minutes, you're able to choose between business or strictly personal, or you can choose the split class, which means it'll do the math based on our ratios here. The same with home office expenses. If you have a heat bill, you can go down to your heat category name and you can set up your heat bill so that when you choose split, it'll go 10% into business and 90% to personal. And again, you can scroll through and change that ratio as you would like. On the far right, you can choose to delete the category name, and at the bottom you can add more. To the left of the expense categories, we have items to appear on business financial statement. So if you have items that are business related, such as bank charges for example, and you want that to show up on your business only financial statement, you would make sure that that's got a check mark. other items that are strictly personal, maybe groceries or gifts or cable TV, for example, here. Let's say this is not a business related item that is strictly personal, then make sure you leave it unchecked, and it won't show up in your business financial, but only on your overall total. Once you're done, choose close. And then finally, we're going to go down to the last area of our setup screen, which is pre-written descriptions. And this is a time saver. So for example, for your most common entries, instead of writing out your descriptions each and every time, you can simply set them up here and then choose them off the list. And even after you choose them off the list, you can still edit them if you like. And then you notice there's a couple of sort buttons in different areas, allowing you to sort these if you like in alphabetical order. Once you're done, choose Save Changes, and this will take you back to the main screen. Okay, so we've created our bookkeeping file, we've completed our setup, and now from this point forward it's a matter of entering your records. So let's show you how that works. To enter records, you would just simply use that green button that says Enter Record. So clicking on that, it takes you to your Enter Record screen. And here you simply follow through the prompts. At the very top, you can choose the reconciliation box to say, yes, I'm reconciling this with my bank statement, or no, I don't have a receipt, or maybe this is US funds. And then we can go down to our date, and let's say this is the 17th of September. Let's say this is a Visa entry. And here we have the choice between business, personal, or is it split? So let's use our split class. Then we can say this is automotive, gas and oil. We can then choose our pre-written description if we like. And here we can even edit that. We put in our total. We choose the tax that applies or no tax. We can edit our tax value here and choose Submit. And here you see behind me is the entry that we just finished doing. Let's do another entry. This one is the 11th of September. We have something going into our savings account, and it's a business only entry. Let's say it's income, and let's say we can choose income from work, and here's our total. If it's taxable, we can choose that and choose Submit. Okay, and so really this is all there's to it. You simply go through your entries and continue entering them just like this. Let's do one more. Let's say it's a personal entry, and let's say it's for cable TV, and we can just type in whatever you like for description. It's $35, let's say, and you don't need to record the input tax since this is not a business related item, and you just choose Submit. Okay, so let's close this. You can see here's our entries, and to view our reports you simply choose the report button, and you can see on the left side there's an overall summary showing the total, the business, the input tax, and the personal expenses here. On the right side is a business only summary showing business and input tax. Scrolling down, you can see there's net totals, and scrolling down further you can see there's an input tax summary showing collected, paid, net balance due. On the right side there's a reconciliation report allowing you to do very simple bank recs. Shows how many entries you've made, the total values of those entries. And finally at the bottom on the left you can see there's a payment type summary showing all the different payment types, how much you've used for each for the period, and also transfer of money between accounts. At any time you can choose to filter out the reports and the entries by month, by quarter, or to choose all. You can also filter out by payment type. You can add notes to the bookkeeping file at any time and submit those for easy reference. Now going back to the record screen, we can see our entries here. And also you're going to notice that here's a column called Rec, allowing you to reconcile your bank entries from this screen. So if you have your paper statement in the mail and you want to reconcile your entries, you just simply go through and say, yes, I see that on my paper statement. I see that one on my paper statement, and this one as well. So once you've done that and you go back to your report screen, you're going to notice that the reconciliation report now is blank. You're in complete balance of your paper statements with what you've entered off your receipts. Okay, so that's how that feature would work. Okay, let's go back now and edit one of our entries. And you can go to the left side of the screen, and in the edit column you can choose to delete the entry or to edit it. So let's go to edit. And one thing that we need to mention is at the bottom of the entry you see a button called Receipt Manager. And this feature allows you to take a scanned image of your receipt or your invoices and attach it to the bookkeeping entry, making for easy archiving, retrieval, and printing of your receipts down the road. So let's go to our Receipt Manager screen. And in here we have several options. We can scan a new receipt. You can browse for an existing image on your computer and attach that to this bookkeeping entry. And you can choose to submit the receipts that you scan or find. And here's a list of all the various attachments to this bookkeeping entry. I've already done one just for the sake of this example. And if you wanted to delete it, you could choose the X. If you want to view the receipt, you could choose that button there. And there you can print, or you can go back to your entry. So let's say we want to scan another receipt. We can attach multiple documents to the bookkeeping entry. So let's scan another document. The camera is loading. You can simply hold it up to your webcam. And once you've got something, you're good, or you can rescan it if you want to try again. And then you simply choose Done when you're done. And you'll take a little bit of practice to hold it steady. The other thing I'll mention is that this particular feature is available on all the free apps for both smartphones and tablets from MoneyLedgers. So you can use those apps to scan your receipt there and make bookkeeping entries as well. And the phone cameras they have now are quite high quality, so it does create a pretty good quality image for you. But if you want to use your webcam on your PC or Mac, that's acceptable. And the quality of your image is really dependent on the quality of your camera. Okay, so once you've got our scan done, it shows us a file name based on our date and time. We can leave that as is, or we can edit that file name there. But if you're satisfied, choose Submit. And now we've got another scanned image on this particular entry. Okay, so once we're done, we go back to the main screen and choose Save Changes. And finally, at the very top, you notice these big buttons. You can create new bookkeeping files, as many as you would like for year after year. You can choose to open a previous file. You can save your work. You can export your work to a PDF file or to a spreadsheet type file. You can print your reports, and you can go back to your setup screen to make changes. And that's really all there's to it. I hope you found the video helpful. Thanks for tuning in.